In the last video, we talked about the truth about the side chick. How many of you would like to hear the truth about the cheater himself or herself? Let's go. Before we get into this, let me just go ahead and say this. You can't win a loser. In other words, if you play tug of war with a cheater and you win, you've lost. This is because a cheater will not stop being a cheater until that person surrenders to God. Remember, only what you do for God will last. In other words, trying to get a person to behave for you is asinine and it's pointless, because any change a person makes for another human being will not be sustained. The minute you disappoint that person or bore that person, their issue is going to come back to the surface. This is because the issue is spiritual. It's not against you. It is against God and God alone have we sinned. But let's get into it. Of course, I'm going to come at it from a spiritual angle. We all date spiritually. I'll make it make sense. We are attracted to the physical aspects of a person, but what keeps us around is agreement. The Bible says in Amos 3:3, can two walk together except they be agreed? Agreement has everything to do with a belief, or better yet, a principle. So, for example, if you believe all men cheat, you will attract an adulterer. Your belief that all men cheat will cause you to prepare yourself to be cheated on. In other words, you'll date with your guards up. The core of your belief system is called a principle. This is going to be your foundational belief. I want you to think of a principle as a planet. Think of it as a planet Earth. Every other belief is going to be magnetized or going to gravitate towards that principle. This includes like-minded people. So if you have an Ahab spirit, that spirit came in because of the principles that you have. Every principle sets the stage for a principality. Consequently, what you're going to find attracted to you are narcissists, aka people with the Jezebel spirit. You'll start saying things like, why do I keep attracting the same type of people? It's a spirit. You have to break up with a spirit. And you can't just break up with a spirit in deliverance. You have to come out of agreement with it. This will help you to understand a cheater. I want to give you an example. Let's say a woman goes out here and she starts dating a guy. While she's dating him, she starts to make him into an idol. He becomes the center of her world. She's Christian, but she's also an idol worshiper, unbeknownst to her. This is because she puts herself first. In other words, she's willing to sin against God to get what she wants. After she gets what she wants, she tries to bring God in it. That's idolatry. So her principle or her central belief may be self-worship. Consequently, she will attract a man who also has that same principle, self-worship, also known as selfishness. When they start dating, they'll pretend to be selfless. This is the mask that most people wear. Over the course of time, one person is going to submit and the other person is going to take a more dominant role. The one who submits will start to worship the one who takes the more dominant role. The one who is erected as an idol will reward the other person for worshiping them by giving them words of affirmation, buying them gifts, taking them out, or giving them their dream. Maybe they want to be married. Maybe they want to have children. Let's say that this lady turns around and she gets married to the guy. He has become her everything. After this, she says, you know what? Let me see God. I want to get to know God all the more. I've been Christian, but right now I want to make God my everything. That's beautiful, but get this. She didn't seek him first. This is where the issue comes in. Remember, the idol is like a planet, and every person and everything that circles or gravitates around that idol is like another planet. Slowly but surely, she starts getting closer and closer to God. This causes her to start to revolve around God. That man is going to start feeling rejected. Unbeknownst to him, he's accustomed to being her deity. All the same, she's breaking up with the spirit of idolatry. This is the spirit that magnetized the two of them together. So you may find her saying, the closer I got to God, the further I got away from him. Her man, that is. Feeling rejected and not wanting to be alone, he will typically go out there and start building relationships with other women. Many of those relationships won't amount to nothing until he comes across a woman who's willing to idolize him. If her worship of him is greater than the worship he's receiving at home, he's a goner. I'm saying this to say that people tend to cheat because the spirits that they have in them are attracted to specific spirits in other people. Like Jezebel, the narcissist, is attracted to the Ahab spirit. This is the runaway prophet or the rebellious prophetic person. This is the prophet who picks up the spirit of this world. That prophet or prophetic person will typically pick up an Ahab spirit. Consequently, they'll find themselves revolving or gravitating to the same principles that Jezebel, the narcissist, gravitates around. That is self-worship. So in her getting closer to God, she will essentially make her husband into a widow. This is because she will die to herself. And that spirit in him will start to long for the spirit that was once in her. And because the Ahab spirit, aka the runaway prophet, aka the rebellious prophet, or what some of you refer to as an empath, is not hard to find, he will easily find her replacement while he's still yet in a relationship with her, that is. Let's say it's not a Jezebel Ahab thing. Let's say that the guy does not have an Ahab spirit at all. He doesn't have a Jezebel spirit at all. He's addicted to porn. He's a perv. That's a really hungry spirit. It is a collector of souls. In other words, it likes to form as many soul ties as possible. That guy's going to cheat because his demon is hungry. His demon cannot and will not be satisfied with one person. So whenever that demon is hungry, that man or that woman will feel that demon's hunger in the growing area. This is what we call lust. That particular person will cheat on you and then bash their head against the concrete when they think that you're about to leave them, because they want the relationship, but the demon in them wants souls. That is the truth about the cheater.